welcome to the Alchemist Shed. I'm Terry.
And I'm Fiona.
In this very first episode, we're starting at the roots, literally. After weeks of battling bindweed, pulling it out of trees, digging up brambles, digging up piles of rubbish, we finally cleared the space and revealed the potential hiding underneath.
You can see the joy on Terry's face. This moment was huge for us. It's the first real step towards turning this wild, overgrown patch into something magical. So join us as we breathe new life into this forgotten corner. This is just the beginning, and we can't wait to share the journey with you.
Let the alchemy begin. Hi, and welcome to our May 2025 plot tour. It's been pretty busy, to be fair. It's springtime, obviously, so there's a lot to do at springtime. But we've been spring cleaning, so we'll start in the little sun shack, as we call it, but it's the potting shed, really. We've had a little bit of a revise on the top here. We've got a couple of bird houses in place. We did have some birds in them, but unfortunately, something attacked them. We don't know whether it was an animal or whether it was some kids playing on the allotment, but yeah, they moved out, so we cleaned them all up and now they're fresh, ready to go again. So hopefully we'll get some takers, because we had some takers pretty quickly last time, but they might have been scared away. Come into the potting shed. These are pots ready to be cleaned, but we've got a nice little shelving unit under here with all our pots and all our trays, and this is where we sit potting up things. We've got some little knickknacks and stuff on the shelves there, you know, everything ready at hand that you need: scissors, string, ties, sellotape, all that stuff you need at the allotment, obviously, and tools and everything hanging up. Inside the shed, where mostly the alchemy that goes on in here is brewing tea, of course, and coffee. So, but more on the alchemy later. This is where we sit and just sit and enjoy, and this is our cool spot, really, to be fair, because it's pretty warm at the bottom of the plot, and when we've been in the polytunnel working, we're pretty sweaty, so we come up here and we cool off and we lift up the windows. So this is our nice little sanctuary. So, but back outside now. So this is our little wild patch where we get a lot of wild garlic growing, and we've just got loads of plants. I'd love to tell you the names, but actually I've got to polish up on that, if I'm perfectly honest. I know some of them, but not all of them, so I'm not going to embarrass myself now. The rhubarb's looking a bit sad this year, but hopefully next year. It struggled a bit when we moved it, so hopefully once it's bedded in, as next to it, the globe artichokes, looking a bit sad last year. This year looking pretty good, and we have a globe. It might be small, but it's definitely a globe, so let's not scare it away. Woo, we're excited. The wild garlic itself is looking a little bit sorry. It's kind of at the end of its best, but all these lovely seed pods will spread. As you can see down here, there's tiny little garlic plants coming up. So in a few years, this is just going to be this size of thing, of the wild garlic all over. So that's going to be something to look forward to. It's always a pleasure to watch things grow in the allotment and how things do from one year to the other, depending on the weather, really. Down here we have our Jerusalem artichokes, not too far from the globe varieties, but yeah, these things are like little tubers, a little bit like potatoes, but not quite. But you can do the same sort of thing with them, like roasting and mashing, and yeah, they're nice, they're good. I won't tell you their little secret name, but maybe later. And here we have our pond, which we spent quite a lot of time on last year, but we might have a little old video, one of those, to share with you later, hopefully, when it wasn't looking quite so bedded in as it is now. We did have loads of tadpoles, and we get lots of frogs all the time. You can sort of see little ripples on the water where they're eating underneath, but now this, I can't remember, was it common duckweed or something? Possibly common duckweed, grows like crazy, but it's a good cover for the pond because it keeps them protected, and yeah, stops the sun too much, and in the winter it helps keep them warm underneath. So always a bonus. Down here we have our mapped out greenhouse, which is our next big project. So we'll have videos of the build coming on that, but this is just the initial shape basically. Needs a little bit more leveling possibly, but yeah, that's a couple of weekends away. Down here in the herb beds, we've got some lovely, I'm not sure what its actual name is, but it's a Coca-Cola common name plant, and it smells just like Coca-Cola. It's really nice. And the sorrel down here and some thyme. The sorrel is just bushing up. I mean, we really should be eating some of this. We might take some of this home with us later, actually. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it really does. And then we'll pop over here and have a look at the strawberry bed, which has a nice new cover on it this year, even though Fiona did fall on the end down the bottom right after I'd fixed it, but thankfully it broke her fall and she didn't end up with a pole in a inconvenient place, so happy days in the end. Dear. And then here we have our other berries. This one was gifted to us from another allotment person just who's over there on the allotments, and it's really taken off this year. We got these in last year. We might have some photos of that to share with you. And then over here we've got some raspberries and some red currants and currants there, but hopefully we're going to get a good crop off this year. We did really well off the raspberries last year, so I'm looking forward to that this year. Up in this bed here, sorry, just having a last look at our berries there. I'm getting ahead of myself, I must slow down. and here in this bed we have our potatoes, which Fiona has been working extremely hard on. While I've been busy building polytunnels, she's been busy looking after the potatoes and getting all the seeds sown and the beds all weeded out and all of that. In the neighbouring bed, whee, set the can off, keeps the birds away. In the neighbouring bed here we have some chard. Pretty much most of this was from, we let the bed last year go over to seed, and most of this is just self-seeded. We did actually sow a few chard plants, so we've added those in down the bottom here where we didn't have as much natural seeds drop, but as you can see up this top end, I mean, we've had to thin it out a bit, but hopefully they'll all grow at slightly different times, and this will keep us fed for quite a while, because chard can get really, really big. You can get leaves like this size, and it's really nice steamed, really good. Up here we've got some broccoli that's going over, but we'll leave this in because we like the bees love it. And then down here we've got next year's broccoli sprouting up quite nicely next to it, so that's all looking good. I'm going to shimmy between these two really tightly together beds, and Fiona is probably going to follow me too. And here we have our wormwood, which makes, when dried, an incredibly bitter tea, but it's very good for the insides and digestion and all of that. And then here are our, well, I say our marvellous broad beans, but really the credit does have to go to Fiona because she sowed them in, when was it, November? Yeah, November, which we learned from the trick from an old guy next door. We watched him sow his so early, so we tried it, and it really works with keeping the black fly pests away. They don't tend to get as attracted to it for some reason. It's a little hardier. And Fiona has been diligently looking after these. As soon as they started to grow, watering them, getting them spiked in. So, I mean, they are the envy of the allotment. I'm joking, but it's actually true. Down here we had a little place where we cleared to put some lavenders and some flowers in. It looks like it needs a good weeding at the moment, actually. And this is a project for next winter. This whole hedge needs to be trimmed down, we've been told, to 5 feet at least. So we did the back hedge this year, but next year it's that one. But it sort of, spring arrived and everything just, as you can see, filled out very quickly. So yeah, And up here we've got our little wild section, which is our bug house, which you can sort of see in the beginning of the other video. It's very, very low to the ground. We had these two in and we were just starting up the top here, but this was pretty much one of my first projects, and it sort of built and built and built. But actually this year I had to do some repair jobs because it had collapsed in the back, and I added all this paneling fence along the back just to make it look nice. And now, yeah, it looks really good. Check out the yoga frog. And there's a little bird feeding bath just behind him where the birds can go and have a drink. And just over here we have a bench right at the top of the plot, which is the perfect location to sit and just enjoy while we stop for sandwiches and coffee breaks and that sort of thing. Obviously it's an allotment, you gotta be having your sandwich and your coffee breaks. You got to enjoy it as well. Down here we have radishes, turnips and beetroots. Some just getting going, some a little bit further along, but soon that'll all be bushed up nice and green. Our salads are finally starting to pop. I mean, probably give them a week and we can be picking some of the leaves off those. I reckon they're going great guns. Just down here, down the path, we have this is some comfrey. You can actually eat this, and it's really good for like bruises and things like that. You can make stuff out of it, but maybe more of that to come later in the alchemy side of the allotment. But the bees absolutely love it. It's perfect. And then just for little bit further down on the path, we've got two of our roseberries here. This one's actually really grown. We looked at some pictures from when we first put it in, and it's like about 4 times its original size. And then we've got some hostas here. Apparently, I've been told you can actually eat the spikes when they first come up. A little bit, they look a little bit like asparagus, but I've not tried it yet. We like the flowers, so we keep them for that. Down here, we have a repurposed old drum that was here when we came. It's a little bit rotted out at the bottom, so I sank it into the ground. And then we use it to plant. These are lilies, and then we've got some daffs left over. And then just hiding down the bottom here, we've got some sage and some mint here. Just across here, we have our rose bush, which has beautiful yellow roses. Lots of buds coming on at the moment, so there's a lot of colour to come from that. The bin of burning. This is our burning bin where we burn all those brambles and bindweed and anything that we don't want coming back. And it's effort has paid off because we don't get much bindweed and brambles now, but we'll certainly have a lot to burn when we clear this side off in the winter. So there'll be a big bonfire video coming at some point. Down here we have a bed which we have a Jamaican green they call callaloo. It does have a name that we call it over here, but I don't know what it is. I only know it as callaloo. So this is all just naturally seeded from last year. We didn't plant any seeds. We've also got some garlic in here and some marigolds, and you get the occasional asparagus pop up in here as well, but that was left over when we before we got to this allotment, and after we cleared everything down we found some asparagus. And then we'll come down to the polytunnel, which has been basically the big build which we've been doing over the last few weeks. It's taken a few weeks and we've got some videos of the process of that to come, but basically we stripped it right back from the old cover and recovered it, and come and have a quick look inside because I'm quite chuffed with it, to be honest. So I made this. The frame here was here originally, the door frame, but it was all like swaying like this, and the original door was really heavy and didn't really fit it properly. So we kept these posts and the frame itself was there. We just stripped that back. I added some wooden battens to help the shape. So, and then this door was made by me. out of a couple of pieces of wood for each of the long bits, and just sort of basically cobbled together with the wood we had lying around. We even had this old handle that came in use. Inside we have a window here which can be uncatched. There's some netting here is just to stop any birds basically, and maybe rats, who knows, but we haven't really had a rat problem in the polytunnel before. We tend to get those in the big composters, which is fine. They turn it over, they're not pleasant, but that's part of an allotment, I'm afraid. We also have a little catch, a hook and eye catch, which we can hook this window open when on a hot day, and then we can just close it up and we know that's just going to stay there. But it's been a bit cooler today, so our little seeds are currently in here temporarily, so we'll close that right back up again. So and the door joyously stays open all on its own, which it never did before, so that's always a bonus. Just come on inside and you can see our temporary little greenhouse. I'm just going to stand here on the mud for a sec with all our little seedlings on the go. There's a few that have popped. We got some tiny tomatoes. They will take off though once we get them in the ground here in the polytunnel. We've got some cucumbers as well. They'll be going in soon. But basically lots of seedlings, some flower, some vegetables. We've got a couple of French marigolds down here, which will be going out soon. This is our Scotch bonnet chilies, which we got loads off last year, and we overwintered at the flat and it's come back really well. And this is our green bell peppers, which has come back as well. We also overwintered this, so hopefully we'll get a good crop from that again. With my self-pollinating it yourself, which Fiona laughed at me last year when I went around with my little tiny brush and pollinated all the flowers with each other. And then when all the peppers started to grow, she came out and she said, go and do your thing with the chili plant again. It's got loads more flowers. So I did, and we had a booster crop, which we had to freeze some of them actually, and we'd not long finished eating them. They were really nice. Down here we've got a couple of gifted courgettes from one of our allotment friends. I'm sure you'll meet him at some point. And also in the polytunnel here we added some trellis. Almost forgot what it was called there for a minute. Some trellis, because this is where the cucumbers grow up and they absolutely love climbing up this side. Last year we had some temporary ones in, but now this is all fixed in place as the whole polytunnel is itself. And also at the bottom we've got a window here so we can get a nice through breeze on a really hot day. Same sort of clips on the door window, but you just give it a little push there and a little push there and boom, window open. And again, the same netting there. So yeah, we're really pleased with our progress. I mean, it's been 3 years, just over 3 years, I think. And it's gone from sort of like a major jungle to then this flat mud bath, because we got it in the January. After we'd cleared it, we were just stomping around and slip sliding around in mud. But we had the vision then, and even back then we were so happy with the progress we made at each stage, and that's part of what we want to share on our in our alchemy shed allotment, is the process and the enjoyment of watching everything grow. So yeah, we hope you join us again. Thanks. Bye.